Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another amazing episode of the Pitchside Podcast.
Side.
And as usual, the lineup is amazing. Mr. Mabunda?
DJ Names, the king of the weekend, right in the mix. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? I got my boy here, Reyaad.
What's popping? People are gonna expect a lot now.
Yeah, we
I know you can do something like, hey.
I heard you are competing with Dr. Malinga with the kid.
Yeah, something along those lines, but not like him. He's now he's
advanced.
he's on another level.
Welcome, man. Thank you very much for taking the time and joining us on the show.
Thanks, guys, for having me. It's always awesome to be amongst top Owens.
No, amongst the top Owen.
No, Owens.
Reyaad, let's take it back. Football, where does it start for you?
Football started at the tender age of 7. I actually started off as a defender.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my position, and it was just away.
Defender?
Yeah. And it was just away. And then your job is done. And then your job is done. Yeah, so I started at the age of 7. Then we had a goalkeeper who was very good at the time. His name was Joseph Mafube. He was a little bit tiny though, short. And the coach was like, "Now we need a little bit of a presence, you know, a taller guy."
Double the guy.
Yeah, double the guy. So then I went for goalkeeping lessons, started enjoying it, and then that's how.
And it stuck with you.
Yeah.
And was this development football, or was this just normal school or club football?
This was club football.
Yeah.
So before even school, before I even started playing school football, this was like social, just enjoying it. Weekends and stuff. This was our team, and then the coach made that decision.
Sounds like a Robert Kelly's type.
Close, we were Mondio Meteors.
Where was this? Many people don't know. Everybody would assume that you're from Cape Town, you're from Yesterdays, you're from... where are you from?
No, I'm from Joburg, Ennerdale. Yeah, I'm from
Okay.
Ennerdale.
Just past the toll gate.
Just past the toll gate, yeah.
I see it. And then, all right, you go from Mondio Meteors, and then where does your journey take you to?
And then I go to Robert Kelly's. That's the next. It's like an evolution. It's going from Mondio Meteors to Robert Chem.
Yeah.
And played there for a few years. I felt like that was very good for me. I needed that because I was still a bit of a softie, you know. But now I'm becoming a goalkeeper, a bit of presence there. And from there, we had the Engine tournament, which is now massive. And from there, I met Coach Wendell, and he was like, "Why don't you come for trials?" I wish I was like Zlatan at the time. I don't do trials, but look, I was a young boy searching for an opportunity, and Wits was at that time really good, football institution, you know, for youngsters. Yeah. So that's
What at what age then did you actually think that actually I might have a career in football and if I take this thing seriously?
I think by the beginning of high school, because I obviously had an opportunity to play. It was between cricket and soccer.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. My high school that I went to, World President, there was no soccer at all. No. So there was just cricket, and I started losing.
The Kolove High School.
No.
I started losing like a little bit of interest in cricket because of the pressure that I felt at the time they were putting on me, and I just obviously enjoyed soccer, and we had training every day, you know.
More pressure in cricket than in soccer.
No, I wouldn't say that. I think just at that time.
As a future prospect.
Yes, and I was still a young boy playing for the first team, you know. So when you're going to bat, the Owens are bowling quick. And I started not enjoying cricket, and then that's when soccer obviously took over.
How hard was it a decision then to make between the two, and like who do you consult, who do you speak to say, listen, the pressure I'm receiving on the other side is not fun? Because a lot of the times we look at things now, I think players now have more access to therapists and so forth to be able to say, look, this is leaning on me heavily and I can't do A, B and C. who do you speak to at the time?
To be honest, I didn't feel like it was a difficult decision for me because I enjoyed so much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed football so much. And like I said, the love for cricket kind of started fading away, which ultimately made my decision a lot easier.
Yeah.
And it was just really my mom and my dad who were always there supporting me. You know, I'm so blessed to have both parents on the side of the field cheering me on, whether it was cricket, rugby, soccer. They were always there. So I had a good foundation. But, you know, I'd always speak to them. My dad, obviously being a football lover,
Yeah.
he would always push or lean me towards football. My mom was, whatever you decide, we're going to support you. So,
Right behind you.
yeah.
Mommy's boy.
Yeah.
Is that where the softness comes
yeah,
from?
I would have to say I think so. I'm a mommy's boy. I am.
Yeah. And then now you go from the Wits development.
Yeah.
And where to?
So from Wits, weirdly enough, Nike then had this initiative that the Nike Chance.
Yes.
And so from South Africa, they had boys from Joburg, Cape Town and Durban that they'd select. And there was 30 players from all around the country. And from the 30, then they'd select 4 to represent South Africa in the Nike Global Chance initiative that they had in London.
Yeah.
And from there, from the hunt, they'd select 4 from us, but overall there'd be 96 other boys
Yes.
from around the world. And from the 96, they'd select 8.
Yeah.
And I was part of that 8, spent time at the Nike Academy. We stayed in Loughborough University. So Loughborough is like where all the top athletes from England go. They stay there and they apply their trade there. So that was good for me to see. It was really difficult, I must be honest, because obviously it's my first time away from home.
Yeah. How old were
And
you at this age?
I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
So, lucky at the time, Skype,
Yeah.
Yes.
Skype saved my life, So, but the first few months were very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I still had a girlfriend at the time, and that one
You
was
missed
making
it.
me
This guy's
dumb,
thinking
bruh.
about his
Why
girlfriend.
Yo,
She was making you
she
dumb.
was making me dumb. So, if to make things worse, being a softie, being away from your family,
Yeah.
your girlfriend, and then you hear stories, and
Yeah,
it's like,
Yeah.
my mind
I want
was
to go
going
back home.
crazy. So lucky I stuck it out, and
Yeah.
no.
It's crazy that the opportunities you speak about, we hardly hear about in this day and age. When you speak about this place in England that you speak about, Thierry Henry speaks about the same thing about a place in France where
Yes.
they went to.
Yes.
And he explains it as they were there just speaking about how many more players can we build for the national team. Not to say how many players can we build to sell on and so forth. And I think we had a very close... I knew it.
Then it's in the crew.
We knew it. They then speak about, we had that, possibly the closest thing to that must have been School of Excellence.
Sure.
But these opportunities you speak about where they chose 8 players from around the world to go and live in the UK and like train to be goalkeepers and train to play football. These are chances we don't really hear a lot about anymore.
Not true, we don't at all, and it's so important, to focus and to put our attention on grassroots football, because that's where the next group or the next generation is coming from. And I feel like we're still far behind, because I always say, if you look at the likes of Germany, if you look at the likes of Brazil, these guys at the age of say 23, 24, these guys are having 50 caps for their country.
True.
And here when we have a 27, 28-year-old, we're saying he's still a youngster.
He's getting his
You
first
know what
cap.
I mean? So the level, and I feel like we're still very far behind, but the talent is there.
Yeah.
The talent is there, so we just need to be positive about it. And I do feel like something eventually, because I was listening to the Minister of Sport actually saying that they want to start making football how rugby is. So most of the high schools have, and their main focus is on rugby. Imagine we had that with football.
Schools,
The talent that we've got is insane.
Do you think that being a mama's boy or a softie is a disadvantage in a male-dominated sports like soccer because of just the amount of testosterone that rolls around the change room?
Yeah, yes and
No.
no. Yes and no.
Okay.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think so in a way, because sometimes just transferring that same energy of being a softie
Yes.
to then crossing those 4 lines, you know, you can't. And I think I learned that the longer I've been in football is when I'm starting now to learn it. You know, maybe it's a little bit late, but you know, it's important to not mix the two. Once you're off the field, okay, yeah, you can be a softie, but once you cross those 4 lines, there's no chance for being a softie or being a nice guy. You know, you have to be ruthless. And I mean, if you look at all the greats in sport, like there's no friends for however long or duration of that game is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it must be very difficult because you've got friends that are in football.
Sure.
And they play for other teams.
Sure.
Now, once you cross those 4 lines,
Sure.
battle lines have been drawn.
Yeah, and
Immediate
I
enemy.
think, and as time goes on and you start realizing, okay, this guy, before we play them, we don't talk or whatever. We don't talk like we used to, but it's part and parcel of everything. You learn, you know, it's how you grow as well. Sometimes you also expect a lot from the next person, and that's when you get disappointed. So.
As time moves on, then I guess you come back from the UK.
Yes.
And then what's the next step?
I come back to SA. I'm at home for about a month. And then just before I'd left to England, I trained with Sundowns and Chiefs. But my week that I trained with Chiefs, Reyaad Piterse, the goalkeeper coach at Chiefs, was like, there's potential here, you know, I just want to work with you, and then we take it from there. So when I came back, I kept in touch with him, and Bobby also kept in touch with me to say, like, if ever you do decide to come back, let me know, and then, you know, we can train and trial and whatever. So that's how it came about. When they obviously liked Reina, obviously put in a good word to say that there's something here, we just need to, it's a rough diamond, you know,
polish it.
we just need to polish it. And that's how it came about, then moved to Chiefs.
All right. Now, who do you consult the most? I mean, when it comes to transfers and things like that, it can't be an easy decision to take on your own.
Sure.
Who do you then consult? Who's your confidant?
If there is
Who's the
anyone
one-
who is proper.
How are you, boss?
Welcome.
But we busy on.
Yeah, how are you, man?
Yeah, but now you can't take such a big juice here.
Well, I'm a big boy.
All right. Say no
Why are
more.
you drinking Red Bull?
Go.
about
We
me
are
then.
busy. Yeah, I'm
Talk
going
about
to.
me,
I'm
eh?
going to. How dark you are. Go.
Sharp.
Holy.
So, who's your number one confidant, especially when it comes to things like transfers? Because I can't imagine you coming back here and then saying, or deciding on your own
Sure.
what team you're going to go to.
Look, my parents obviously had a big role to play in that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I also had an agent who also helped me make that decision.
Did you consult your girlfriend?
Nah. That time I was single.
Was she still around?
Nah,
She was
that-
around.
That time I was single. Yeah, nah. That time I was
Ask her if
single.
she was still around by that time.
Nah, that time I was single.
Yeah.
Nah, no girlfriend. What is she gonna tell me
Yeah,
at that
but-
time?
Yeah, you never know, man.
I
Maybe
was still a lighty.
maybe she has you with the wisdom.
Nah,
She's
nah.
dealing with you.
Nah,
She had you dome like when you first arrived there in UK.
All right. So then move to Kaizer Chiefs. From Kaizer Chiefs, you then move to Supersport.
correct.
And once again, your parents and agent are the ones who are.
This time my parents are not really involved that much.
You're a big
Because
boy.
you're a man now.
Yeah, now I'm starting to figure things out. Got an agent, but agents. I've burned my fingers with agents.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think I ever want another agent.
For real?
Yeah, nah.
That bad?
Yeah, no, I think I've crossed that line.
So I'm a 16-year-old boy that's
Sure.
coming up in the ranks, and
Sure.
I'll be watching this episode.
Sure.
It would be very difficult, first of all, as a 16-year-old to go and try and negotiate your own contract.
True,
But
true.
What are things that you would advise that young man or young girl that's coming up to look out for? And I mean, you're going to make mistakes.
No,
eh?
100%. I would, excuse me. sorry.
No problem.
I would suggest, and the advice I would give them is make your parents your agent. Okay, your parents obviously don't have the contacts that these agents have, but the money then stays in the family. Now you're giving it to somebody that doesn't really care about you, and the only time you're hearing from this guy is when it's that time when the signing on fee is coming, you know. So even if you look at Haaland, Neymar,
Yeah.
those are just the ones that I know of. That's parents are looking after them, and the money stays in the family, you know.
Yeah, I think it's topics that we seldomly talk about.
Yeah.
True.
That especially at this day and age whereby everybody is looking for something,
Sure.
or looking for an opportunity.
Sure.
And like you say, you mentioned Neymar and Haaland and them. It also takes the parents to also invest
Yeah.
Correct.
time to get to know the game, get to know what is required from them, and also find ways to build that contact. It's not
sure.
easy because everybody has their own own route.
Yeah.
Sure.
But at times one needs to just trust the voice of the parents.
Yeah.
Sure. And I also feel like if you that good also, it speaks
will
speaks
come for
volume.
you,
They
yeah.
will come.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, they will find you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even if you look at Serena Williams,
Yeah.
I mean, their dad had no experience in tennis.
At all. And
Nothing.
And he
And-
trained them to be world champions.
Have you seen that documentary?
No, not. I've watched half of it. I need to finish it. Yeah.
Nah, that's
It's
like-
amazing. I think these are the conversations we need to have because most importantly, we'd hate to get into a situation whereby people have to walk through the fire like we did in order to get forward.
Correct.
So the points you make about agents and signing on fees and how it gets to a point where they only show up when it's time to get the money is definitely a hard one because
Sad, man.
yeah, it's very sad. I guess in essence, and I think an agent should also be like a father figure or a
Correct.
mother figure.
That's true.
Somebody who really looks out for you because it's not always easy being a footballer.
True. It's not. I mean, you hear so many stories of guys that had everything, and by the time they done with football, they don't have nothing. You know, and it's sad to hear that type of stories, and it's scary as well. Being in football as well, when you see people live a flashy lifestyle, you know. Who am I to judge? I'm not ever gonna judge anyone, but you know, sometimes you want that bit of guidance, and the fact that I feel like we've never really had that type of guidance. And I always say this, as a footballer, I always feel like you're starting on the back foot. Firstly, you have to buy or pay your mom and dad's house off, and then you know what I mean,
Support the family and-
whereas, not judging anyone or anything, but when you see rugby players, cricket players, they come from, most of the time they come from well-off families where whatever they're making now is on them, you know what I mean. So it's just also that lack of education that we haven't received on how to utilize and use your money properly.
I like what Naves you're saying about having a person who becomes like a father figure in the system, and in most cases you find that it's difficult when you have somebody who only appears when it's time for the money,
For sure.
because eventually you grow. And as players, we also talk.
Yes.
Sure.
As players, we talk.
1000%.
These are the challenges I face. This is what my agent does for me.
Yeah.
And then you find that
Correct.
your agent doesn't do that for
Yes.
you. My agent has helped me to get this sponsor. And then you begin to feel like your agent is not putting in as much effort
Sure.
as a person who is your colleague or is your
100%.
teammate and so
Yeah.
forth. So it helps when Reyaad is saying that the agent and the parents work together, because
Yeah.
the parents will always have the
For sure.
best interest,
Correct.
and they'll be able to challenge the decision of the agent
Sure.
in terms of maturity. Me as a young boy, I just want to see myself play.
100%.
I don't focus on what's gonna be happening.
Don't
All I
read the
want
finer
is
print
Yes,
of these
yes.
things.
so the parents will have that time, make time to sit with the agent, and there should be a really good relationship. If a person is to have an agent, there should be a really good relationship
For
with
sure.
with the parents or with someone within the family.
Yeah. Reyaad, then it goes on to the next stage, which I'd like us to talk about, is the impact of, like, first of all, having a good support structure, then the impact of fans, social media, and so forth. Now, we've had a conversation offline previously about social media and you having had logged off. What was what was the straw that broke the camel's back? The straw.
Like
Okay. See guys straw.
Yeah.
One,
Broke
two,
the
three.
camel's back.
No, I
For
just
you, yeah.
at the time I don't think I was expecting.
It's a house. It's
At the time I don't think I was maybe ready for it.
Yeah.
And didn't also at the time know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know? And like instead of me going back and forth with somebody that I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I always say this, the people that are actually sending you negative stuff is not in your shoes or have never been in your shoes.
Never
you know
will
what I
be.
mean? You know what I mean? Because a guy that's on your level or whatever doesn't have time to be tweeting or
About
sending
sending
messages.
those,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like maybe now I'm a little bit wiser than back then, but I just felt like, I need to escape this because it's my confidence.
It weighs
you know,
down on you,
it's- And I start questioning and doubting myself, you know. So I just thought it's better me get rid of this than me getting altercations with people
you
that I
don't
don't
know.
even know. You know what I
100%.
mean? So
Do you think that also then plays to your soft side?
possibly could,
Yeah.
it could, because now I'm like, let me not deal with this, you know.
Yeah.
So I just push it under, push
Yeah,
it under,
yeah,
push
yeah.
it under. But I also feel like in a way it helped me a bit because now I'm not going onto social media and then automatically seeing some negativity.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know how to deal with this. Now I'm
100%.
responding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Now, with you getting older and maturing as a man, how do you then, because you're a family man,
Sure.
what do you say to your kids? Because, like, for example, my kids love TikTok,
sure.
but I've had to limit it. I'm like,
Sure.
we've got to draw a line somewhere.
100%.
How do you then, because as a parent, you want to protect your kids.
Of course.
But with the experience you've had
Sure.
with social media, how do you then pass it on to your kids or whoever else just to make sure that they are protected and they
Sure.
don't go through what you did?
Look, it's a difficult one to say because it also depends on what they're doing
Yeah.
and how often they are on
Yeah.
this thing. Fortunately enough, my kids are not at that stage yet where they on the TikToks, Instagram, and it's gonna come to
Yeah.
that point. And right now, I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But eventually, I think with time, I'll be able to say, hey, like you say, you have to put rules and regulations, or else they're just gonna abuse it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess, just to put rules in as a parent, to say, look, when you've done your homework, when you've done whatever you needed to do, that's when we can do this, and only a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a tough one.
It's a tough
man.
one.
It's a tough
There's
one.
no rule book to this life and
100%,
parenting thing, right? You've
100%.
just got to go through it to
For
figure
sure.
it
And
out.
and what obviously works for you is not gonna maybe work for
Yeah.
me. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's just it's trial and error till you figure out okay, this works for me and my family. Let's stick to this.
Yeah. Reyaad, if somebody asked you, how do you want to be remembered in football? What would your answer be?
I would like to be remembered just being a good person.
The sweet guy.
Yeah, nah, I don't like. For me, how can I say? It costs me nothing to just greet you and
Yeah.
shake your hand and just like I don't need anything from you and you don't need anything from me, but just to when
Respect.
your head is down a little bit,
Yes.
just to give you that extra bit of motivation and just be a supporting structure for the next person, because you never know what the next person
Is
is
going
dealing
through,
with,
yeah.
So that's all I try. And yes, I don't play enough as many games as
Yeah.
one would like, but like I feel like I add a lot to the team. Just the guys, whenever they
Very
see
true.
me, they make a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'll take it, I
Yeah,
can take
100%.
it. But it's nice to also know that you add that value in the team,
the team, yeah.
And I don't mind. Like if I must be a water boy, I'll be that and I'll give my best doing that. Just when the team wins, we all win,
win.
you know. So
Once again, now it brings it back to the team. You move from Supersport to come to the team. Who are you consulting about that decision? And the reason I ask this is everybody that comes on here, there's always a notion that if you go there, your career might not work out and so forth and so forth. Who are you speaking to? Who's saying what to you, and what makes you actually make the decision to say, I don't care what you guys are saying.
Sure.
This is the move I want for
Sure.
me. Yeah.
To be very honest with you, I feel like my agents, because I personally felt like it wasn't the right time for
Yeah.
me. But I don't want to blame anyone because obviously I also had the choice. I just felt like maybe the timing wasn't right.
Okay.
But again, it comes down to, I also feel like my agents saw a payday, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But I don't want to blame anyone and put it
yeah.
on anyone's shoulders. At the end of the day, it was my decision also. But yeah, I have no regrets, you know. I felt like maybe it was a little bit early, but you know, the amount of things that I've learned being here,
Yeah.
being with this group of people, I mean, never giving up, you know, just the brotherhood, and now more especially the brotherhood and the team camaraderie is second to none.
Yeah.
Nah, it's really, really good. And
You were there when the guys were on the 14-hour bus trip in Lubumbashi.
No, he wasn't there.
No.
You went
No,
there?
no.
Okay, no.
He
He
wasn't there.
survived that one.
Yeah, nah. There's so many stories I've survived.
He survived a lot of
Oh,
things, this
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Nah, but look, honestly, to be with this group of people and players, it's been unreal. It's been.
What has been your toughest on the road challenge? Because I remember there was a year where the guy spent Christmas in Algeria.
Yeah.
You was
And
there.
you were there
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
huh?
was there.
Yeah, all the guys were complaining and
Yeah, no,
crying.
that's tough. Obviously, you know, when there's fair like Christmas and
Yeah.
stuff, even though I'm Muslim, you know,
Yeah.
I have some parts of my family that are Christian.
Yeah.
So that's a time where the whole family is together.
together.
And yeah, no, it's difficult, but like they always say, hey, this is what you paid for.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can't
that's what we
complain.
paid.
Yeah, exactly. So now, as much as we'd like to complain, we can't really. We are so, I won't, I always say it, we are so fortunate and blessed to be in the position that we are in.
Yeah. Speaking about your religion, being Muslim, how do you survive those periods where you guys are fasting,
Yeah.
but you still have to train, you still have to do all of that? Like how much of a mental struggle and physical, because I mean, you've got to break through those
Sure,
barriers
sure,
because
sure.
your body is saying, I need fuel, which
Sure.
is food, to be able to.
No, I won't lie. It gets really challenging sometimes, you know. But again, that's why I'm so grateful for the team. They also respect our religion and also understand and make things possible for us when it's time to break our
Yeah.
fast and stuff like that. So it does become challenging, but when you've got the support and when you've got people also that respect and understand
Yeah.
where you're coming from, then it makes things so much easier. And I guess it's just your level of faith to push through those tough moments, you know. So
I remember sometimes during when we were in camp,
Yeah.
you'd find that they had to wake up early in the morning
Yeah.
to around 3-4
Yeah.
because they had to be fasting
Yes,
throughout the day, and you could just imagine that time we are sleeping and they have to break or start their fasting
Yes.
at that hour and then wait throughout.
Yeah.
And I've seen we played teams in North Africa
Yes.
where you find that the game needs to be shifted in order
To accommodate.
or during the game you find that they're given a space in time for them to break their fasting, and
Yeah.
it's also good that football also accommodates
Yeah.
people in different beliefs and what they stand for.
Yeah.
As much as we are footballers or sportsmen, we're still human beings after all. There's still
Yeah.
life after the game, so it's not easy, like he says. But
I can't imagine.
one person needs to stand by what he or she stands for, and it should also be respected and supported. It's good that teams and football now supports each individual in their own space of life.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. I keep saying to the gents, like, I've got some friends who are Muslim, and when they go on their fasts, I've got a guy I go to gym with. He'll show up to gym for 2 sessions a day, no matter what.
Serious.
But especially when it's for Ramadan,
Yeah.
in the afternoon sessions, you can see that he's just really trying to depleted, but he keeps breaking through the barrier and keep going.
Do you go eat by his house after?
Yeah. Big party, It's a big party there. Yes, it's the
This
best.
guy had his own menu. He had his own menu in camp.
Yeah.
Everybody had their own food, but he had his own menu. It's like,
Get some the first one.
and you find that sometimes when the waiters they bring the food and he's not yet there. You find that we're busy.
Normally, guy like when we're at the hotel.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Muslim guys get their halal meals.
Yeah.
Yo, the guys like I am Muslim. I'm Muslim. Yo, the guys just want to chow the halal meat, but it's good.
No, they make plentiful food, especially at the end when they break the fasts. It's
Yo.
a big. It's a party is the wrong word, but it's a they cook.
Yeah, they go. Yo,
The
they
aunties
go out.
do their thing there.
The moms of they.
Oh,
yo,
yo, mutton
they rock those
biryani,
pots,
everything.
man. They rock those pots.
Reyaad, want to say thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for sharing the wisdom and the time, your time with us today, right here on the Pitchside Podcast.
Are we gonna have a dance?
Okay, come on,
Are
just
you gonna
one
join
dance.
me now? Only
No,
if you
but
guys
if you start, you must start it. Show
yeah,
us,
but
then we
then
join you.
Let's most do our own thing. We have a beat. We do our own things and then.
Do you have a beat? Do you have a beat there? Do you have a beat?
Yeah, we need at least a song, something to move to.
This is the Pitchside Podcast. Please
Pitchside.
don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments, and as usual, we'll be reading them in the next episode.